am on a whole nother level. Girl, he only fucked you over cause you let him. Girl, I guess he didn't know any better. Girl, that man didn't show any ever. Do all I can just to show you you're special. Certain it's your love that holds me together. Lately you say he been killing the vibe.
Who is least? Yeah. Who is furthest? Abacha, even worse.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You know, maybe in terms of tenure of time that I didn't kind of feel as much pressure, it would probably be Abdul Salam because he was around for such a short time. But I later heard that he stole so much that he stole what he would have stolen in 5 years in 1 year that he was in power.
Were you around for Gowon?
I was around during Gowon's time, but I was barely conscious that I was a child, you know. The only thing I remember about Gowon is Udochi, because my father bought a motorbike at that time. And so,
what do you think of Third Mainland Bridge?
Third Mainland Bridge, there's nothing new about. You see, I hate to praise leaders based on what they're trying to do. No, I mean, the fact that the bridge is falling apart shows that somebody didn't do a good job constructing it.
Or could it be maintenance?
It could have been maintenance, but it also could have been that you didn't steal all the money that was meant for the construction of the bridge.
How would you diversify Nigeria's economy away from oil?
I've always said it, and I repeat that oil is lazy economy. I don't think oil has more than 10 years of lifespan, and any economy based upon it, I'm sorry to say, it's not going to work.
What would you bring in, Minister?
I'll bring in development of human capital. Nigerians are the ones we need to invest in right now.
And more so than agriculture?
Of course.
More so than agriculture?
Oh, you know, look, the kind of agriculture we are that I can bring to you in the next few years is the type that we were doing before. So you replace tractors with cows. Yeah. That is not going to take you to the next level. What will take you to the next level is a Nigerian society where people who are agriculturists can actually develop seedlings, and then they can develop technologies that can make agriculture be all right. That's why you have to invest in the people, because the agriculture that I can immediately tap into is probably supplying China.
Sure.
Yes.
Cassava?
Yes, cassava, you know, and cashew nuts and things like that. People here will not be able to afford it because, you know, China is going to demand for it.
What in your mind is the best country in the world?
Best country in the world.
Best run country in the world.
Oh man, I've been to Denmark.
Denmark?
Yes.
Copenhagen?
Yes.
You think that's very well run?
You know, the fact that a minister rides a bicycle, you know, to a conference I attended, and I didn't know who she was until she stepped on the stage without a police person. We were waiting in the ante room and it's like, oh, you know, what are you doing here? And she came on a bike.
Yeah. Denmark is...
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. So, and I think a lot of Scandinavian countries, I've heard about Norway before, but never been there. And it's the way they, you know, redistribute their wealth. You know, an average Norwegian has wealth stored away for him or her from their oil wells. Whereas Nigeria here, every wealth we own is stolen by our leaders.
Who's the greatest Nigerian that's ever lived?
Oh man.
In your
opinion. The ones that have ever lived.
In your opinion, that you kind of have a sense of.
Oh man.
Who would you say is the greatest Nigerian? The one that all of us should aspire to become like. Nigeria.
You know, I have a number of them. I have a number of them, man.
One that comes to your mind right now.
You know, like I said, I would take Awolowo, you know, and I have a bias for him because he gave me education.
Got it.
You know.
So you were kind of settled.
If the school wasn't there in 1980 to go to, he created the secondary school in my village in 1980.
So it's all about self-interest.
It's not self-interest. It's something that I think affected a lot of people too.
Sure.
And something
you
that
personally, you gained from it.
I gained from it.
Do you think that people who did?
And it wasn't that I gained money from it.
Yeah,
I gained something that I could never negotiate.
To money.
Yeah.
The education has converted.
It hasn't for me.
Oh really?
Yes.
Really?
I'm still as poor as the church.
No. But I mean, you are not reliant on anybody. You're self-reliant because of your education.
Yes. See, what I'm saying about that is not just that. Is that value that he added to our lives, and you can convert that to money, you can convert that to other things, including integrity, which is important, and you can't measure by money. It was so important that I wish that everybody had that at that point that I had that, at that age in my life. That a Marjorie child also in the North had a chance to go to the secondary school that he wanted in 1980.
Got it.
And we could have had probably not only me now, there will be millions of my type of persons in Nigeria. We wanted to having this conversation if a lot of people are as conscious as some of us because of that opportunity to have early education. Let me explain why. In 1980, if that school wasn't there, I had to go to another secondary school that takes a day to travel to, which is in Okitipupa in Ondo State. Then you have to take an entrance examination. In our village, out of about 300 kids, only 6 of them are eligible to go to secondary school because of the cumbersome and complex process of education. And who brought this school? We, in fact, we're the ones who constructed our secondary school. We volunteered to be bricklayers, we fetched water, we built the school up. And
Is the school still there?
they're still there.
And the children are
They're still going there. But the schools are without teachers today.
Sure.
Yes. So, and they don't pay, they don't have, the other day, they contacted me to pay for teachers for people who are writing WAEC in Ondo State.
Have you been to every state in Nigeria?
Most states. I've been to about 29 states now in the last 6 months.
Okay. In the last 6 months?
Yes. Last 8 months, I would say, since I started this. But I haven't been to every state, but largely I've been to at least 30 to 32 states in Nigeria now.
What do you think of NYSC?
Oh, I think it's outlived its usefulness.
Should they completely scrap it? Or
I won't scrap it, but I will make it non-compulsory.
What do you think of Godfatherism and politics?
Oh, I hate it. Oh, it's passion. And this is the reason why we're doing this. We have to retire them as well. All the godfathers need to be taken out of business.
Can we do that through the ballot box?
Absolutely, we can. If we are not cynical about it. You see, there is a difference between what the ballot box is, what the ballot paper is, and what the right to vote is. You know, the moment is all about the PVC, which is just a plastic card that you carry. And it's not about your will to vote for the person you want and stand by your vote. Then it defeats the essence of the ballot box.
Sure.
Right?
You were in a pact with a few other parties. And
I
there was
wasn't.
You were not in the pact.
I was not. I have been making this clarification forever, and I hope we get it.
So it's not.
I
not
attended a meeting once.
Okay.
Where they were meeting, where they said they were forming parts.
Okay.
I left the same day, told them I'm not interested.
Got it.
Because
I remember I saw you say
yes,
yes.
and I said and I made it very clear. I issued a statement immediately saying these are my concerns. Yeah. And I never participated beyond that day.
There's been a lot of talk around restructuring
Yes.
in Nigeria. Is it something that you think
I believe in restructuring.
You believe in?
Yeah. But I'm very quick to make a caveat out of it that you cannot restructure Nigeria and put the same drivers and expect things to be different.
Got it. So it's about the driver as well.
It is. You know, you can restructure Nigeria as much as you like. Thank you. Or the way you want. It can be great on paper. But if you return the same set of people to govern Nigeria, a restructured Nigeria will be worse than an unrestructured Nigeria. So the first restructuring that has to happen is a generational transfer of power, transition. The problem I have with restructuring and the advocates and proponents, which I've said and nobody has ever replied, means where are the young people for whom the future is met in the debates? You know, you want to restructure Nigeria. The people who are driving the campaign are 80-year-old people who are on the departure lounge of
Why
life.
are the youth so gagged?
Huh?
Why aren't the youth driving it? Why aren't they calling for it?
Because they don't invite you to this meeting.
Why should you be invited?
Because they don't consider you as part of the
Why
people.
don't the youth just come together and do their
But that's what we are doing now.
That's what you're doing.
Yes.
But the rest of the youth aren't doing it.
Well, a lot of them are keen into it. They are having a conversation here and there. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, you are finding younger people saying we want to be president. It's never happened before. In fact, they made it into a law that you couldn't be president if you were a certain age. That has been reduced.
Every successful politician has a base. How would you describe your base?
My base is diverse.
That's not a base.
It's what I mean is diverse. Is that it transcends both ethnic and religious, sentiments that you hear about. Creating.
Donald Trump's base is like white men who are a little bit right or to the right and are very capitalist. I'm just wondering. Asiwaju's base is. What is your base?
Tell me what's Asiwaju's base.
Well, his base is mostly the uneducated, the people who tend to have violent tendencies, who tend to have monopolistic tendencies, who aspire to make a lot of money. That's how I see his base.
Yes.
Those are the people that you tend to see behind.
Right.
What's your base?
I would also add that it's mercantilistic tendencies,
Mercantilistic.
Mercantilistic, yes.
So like mercantile.
Yes.
Okay. What is your base?
So our base is young people, likely young.
What is the age range?
What's your impression of young people?
Well, it's also I have an impression that I would say is a little bit mixed. I'm finding that a lot of young people still haven't found their balance, they haven't found their understanding of their powers within the society, and as a result, some of them are aloof, and it's based out of cynicism. A lot of them are skeptical that they even have the power to change society because they've never tried anything before and haven't been able to move themselves to a point where they can make things happen differently. So that's how I feel about some young people. But a lot of consciousness is also happening because social media, for instance, has brought young people to a realization that they have some powers. Of course, some people are making it transactional by calling themselves social media influencers, and then they sell their base to the same old politicians. But we are having organic kind of connection and engagement with young people that is direct, that don't used to happen before. So outside of the natural market space for ideas, there is now a virtual space for engagement and connection. For example, young people in Nigeria, or even older people in Nigeria who are outside of Nigeria, don't used to know how to engage with politics in Nigeria because there was no way, you had to come home before you can do it. But look at the internet now, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is making that engagement possible.
How many people have access to that sort of media?
On Facebook,
in
particular, they said every Monday over 16 million Nigerians log into 16 million Nigerians.
10% of the population.
It's not. Look at it from the point of view of the people who are logging into Facebook are people who have attained the voting age. And the last person who won the election in Nigeria won with about 15 million votes. So if all the guys who are logged into Facebook who are conscious enough vote for a candidate to win the election in 2015.
Yeah, but what about the disenfranchised people, 160 minus 15? What about those people? Who speaks for them?
That's what I'm saying. It's the reason why we're on ground. It's the reason we've done 29 states, traveling to places like Zamfara.
You want to grow that base?
Well, it's not only that we're growing in. Everywhere we've been, even outside, this immediate base we're talking about, people welcome us, they accept us. When we started, we were told that you dare not go to Kano because the Wichi Raw is Buhari's land. Zamfara. I went to Zamfara. Yeah? We went to Kebbi. We traveled around the country and found out that these people are welcoming of fresh ideas. But of course there are barriers. There are language barriers in particular. There are communication barriers. A lot of people...
Wasn't that what NYSC was supposed to help?
I talked about NYC to you. NYC is not different from every other
what I'm saying is there are language barriers.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons it was set up. If we scrap it, what do we replace it with? Because people like you have to be able to go across
I didn't say I would scrap NYC.
Okay.
I said I will make it non-compulsory.
Okay. I'm trying to understand how...
That is to say that, and I know this is controversial. I'm saying that if you graduate from college, either within or outside Nigeria, you don't have to do NYC, in my view. What I would then do is to incentivize NYC such that anybody who wants to go to NYC will find it fulfilling. And it has to do with how much do you pay somebody who is doing NYC, who has left his family, to go to, say, Zamfara to teach. I want to pay the person the minimum wage I recommend for workers, 100,000 naira. So that while you are there, you can feed yourself, you can clothe yourself, you can protect
What do you think
yourself.
of Israel?
Israel, the state of Israel. Well, I honestly believe in a two-state solution. That is, Palestinians and Israelis can live side by side in peace. So, and I have been part of student movement in the U.S. that oppose the oppression of Palestinians by Israelis. And I know a lot of Jews also in the U.S. and even within Israel that were in a connection with who seriously oppose the violence being visited on their neighbor.
Because Israel has a one-year conscription into the military. So whether you like it or not, you have to join the Israeli military for at least a year.
Yeah.
And they effectively are brought into the military to train them to fight their perceived enemy. Mm-hmm. That's why I was asking. I'm trying to draw a parallel.
But that if you look at Israel, it's not just fighting their enemies. They also use the military to train them about technology. They train them in a variety of things that in that 1 year after you're done with the military, you can actually be a standalone person, having benefited from your training and do some other things with your life.
Which should have been the purpose of the
That's what NYC is supposed to be about.
When did it fall apart? Was it good at the beginning?
Never.
I don't know what it was at the beginning. I did NYC, and I know that it
Was a waste of time for you?
It wasn't a waste of time, but I wish that more functional.
Okay,
When I was in NYC, totally loved it to the point that I only came home once for my graduation. I stayed in Yola at NYC.
If you make it voluntary.
But they punished me there.
If you make it voluntary.
Yeah.
How many people will go and do it?
A lot of people will do it if you make it voluntary and you pay them well. A lot of people will do it. I think the same number of people will do it. Even more people will do it. Because if you are paying somebody 100,000 to go to, and also I have a plan for insurance. If you die or something happens to you, they will give you 10 million naira in insurance to your family. Not that, so that social insurance that you feel when you are doing NYC will make you give your best. Yeah, you have to incentivize people. You can't just send people to a volatile area of Nigeria. Ask them to stay there for a year. And when I was in NYC, they weren't even paying our monthly alawi, as we call it, allowances.
So is there hope for Nigeria?
There is hope. This is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. There's hope because there are a lot of people here who just need to understand that they are powerful and take the country back, right? The only other alternative is to leave the country in the hands of these characters, and we'll still have to clean up the mess after them anyways. The only options that are open to Nigeria is for Nigeria to completely collapse. And if it does, it's going to affect you and me. Even those who are outside, we are involved in helping to clean up a mess in Sierra Leone, in Liberia. When they had Ebola the other day, all of us had to stop whatever we are doing. We had to pray for them, for those who pray, to help them, for those who could do medical missions to the place. Cuba sent a medical mission to, I think, Sierra Leone or Liberia to help them with Ebola.
What do you think your chances of winning the presidential election?
Very high chances, on the condition that people understand that is the easiest thing to do. This is the best time to be alive for me, for voters, if only they do the right thing.
Do you think INEC would be fair?
INEC has always been an umpire who has been created to help the ruling party win. People should not lose sight of that. That's the reason why INEC is some kind of lackey of the government. But at the same time, it has always been known that it's difficult to rig an election for someone who didn't win the election, no matter how sharp they think you are. Let me tell you something that I discovered about Nigeria. Over these last 30 years I've engaged with Nigeria. I don't know whether it's a natural mistake, but whenever Nigerians reject a particular leader, somehow, no matter how manipulative they are, they fail to achieve their purpose. It happened with Babangida. We were almost giving up that Babangida would perpetuate himself in power. He had already annulled June 12. All his boys, they called IBB boys, said, let's continue. Somehow that plan collapsed overnight. They went and brought Shoneko. Everybody said we don't want an interim national government. They brought soldiers on the street, they shot people, killed as many as they wanted. Somehow, 84 days later, Shoneko had to be let out of the way. Abacha came. Abacha died almost on the eve of the night he was supposed to be adopted by 5 political parties that he created to be the sole presidential candidate, including Bill Clinton at that time saying, well, at this point there's nothing wrong if he continues. That's America.
Was that divine providence?
I don't know what it is. There must be something about Nigerians that where they
natural mystic.
That's what I call it, natural mystic in the air.
If I may ask, what's your ideological framework? Why should we want to follow that? I keep on asking people like Chef, what is going to motivate? What is it that is going to motivate me to want to believe in you? I don't know. What's your fundamental?
Yes. So the ideological part is my very strong conviction in welfareism, that the welfare of the people of any country, including Nigeria, must be supreme. That will take care of our people first and foremost before we start thinking about other people or a clique or a cabal. So that welfareistic blood is what has defined me over the years. The insurance, which is what you're asking for, is to key into my history. What I did when I was a younger person in the university, where this country needed people to stand up, and most people wouldn't stand up because of what they were benefiting. I fought against the military. When I was 21 years old, I fought on the side to help restate Abiola's mandate that led to my expulsion from the university, my attack, detentions. When that ended, and we had military rule, end of military rule in 1999, left the shores of Nigeria, I knew that people didn't understand that the transition program did not produce democracy. It only produced civilian operators who didn't believe in democracy. Like so Obasanjo never believed, and they still don't believe in democracy to the day. And then came another time when I went to, after I was done with school, I set up a media company. And that media company had intervened successively when it was most crucial in the life of Nigeria. You know about third time. We all worked to frustrate it. You knew about Yaradua Kabal. We all worked to put an end to it. When Jonathan came with shenanigans, we helped to, transition from a major political party that had bragged that they are around for 60 years. We ended their rule at the nick of 16 years.
Really? They took off their white gloves and they put on blue ones. They didn't change. Nobody ended anything. All the guys in PDP moved to APC.
No, but what I'm saying is that intrinsically, something shifted in Nigeria. And what shifted is that it's part of why we're having this conversation today. There's the fact that there is implicit belief that people can use their votes to change situations, or they can use their voice. If you don't have the amplification of that voice, we wouldn't even have a change of government, whether they've shifted from one party to the other. I agree with you. I say today that there's no difference between the PDP and the APC. But Nigerians, on their own, wanted a change from a party that they know to be really bad to another party that they didn't understand very well, but now they probably understand better. So all these consolidations that have happened, I've had a hand in it, or with others. So it's what is important. That's the insurance we're talking about. And I've been consistent about it.
You know the problem I have with that argument? And maybe you can educate me. The problem I have with that argument is that you're right. There's been a shifting and a seeming giving up of power. But it's come at a very high price in terms of the cost of Nigeria's wealth that has been stolen. So there are lots and lots of retired power brokers who have considered power in exchange for, I think, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So I don't see that shift. I see that billionaires have been created, and just because they've now walked away from the field, the theater of battle, are you with me, and left people like you there still fighting, they've walked away with the booty. So I don't see that. I think that the country is a whole lot worse off. It may be better in terms of freedom. If we were sitting here in 1983, we probably would have been arrested by now.
Even in 1994.
Yeah, but the fact is that nobody wants to arrest you now because they got the money.
I mean, they will still arrest me if they convince themselves.
At some point, if you get to...
If they convince themselves that, I'm stepping on their toes too much, they'll do it. I don't take that for granted.
But
the mentality is still there. But what I'm saying here is that there's also this thing that has happened in the sense that more and more people also feel that they can speak up, even in the face of all these odds that are stacked against us. More and more people can organize. It's a difference between not organizing because we don't want to organize and having the chance and the space to organize, which has been created. I'm talking about democratic consolidation and spaces, that we've expanded the democratic space. I cannot force people, for example. Right now, what I'm saying to you is that Nigerians have a chance, complete chance, uninhibited chance to change their leadership based on what we have achieved over the last maybe 16 to it will be 20 years next year. But a lot of Nigerians are not taking advantage of that because a lot of people are complacent, a lot of people are cynical, a lot of people are caught up in loyalties, and some of them ethnic, some of them royal, some of them religious, but we can transcend all those odds and get to a space of freedom where we can actually, nobody will stop you from voting next year if you want to vote for a candidate of your choice or you organize for a candidate of your choice. But it don't used to be like that a political party used to think that the only way to do things is to do it a certain way. It is also true now there's a political party in town that is still doing the other way around. But there's more consciousness. This is Ikoyi, for example. There are 2 million people here who don't vote.
Is that the number of non-voters
in Ikoyi, Victoria Island, this triangle, the middle class people, they don't vote.
2 million.
2 million of them.
Those are the people I was talking about.
Yes.
Walk away from the theater, got enough money.
When is the time for election? They travel out.
Yeah. That's what I was talking
They're
about.
going to spend vacation.
That the shift.
Yes.
The shift is that once you get yours,
Yes.
I'm no longer.
No, that's true. But there's also now evidence that they are going to vote. I mean, at least that they obtained PVC.
Oh, really?
Yes. A lot of people who used to be concerned
Yeah.
actually obtained BP. At least, so the question is, will they vote?
Yeah.
You know,
Very
that lady has borrowed my book. Is that not the man died?
Sorry. No,
This is the second one.
yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think your approach is very. I would do.
Thank you. We just got a voter here. Thank you.
But I don't believe in it.
You just won a life.
Yeah.
Should I stand up and be prayed for?
No. Your prayers have been answered already. Thank you so much.
Well done.
We have the next assignment.
I admire your courage.
Thank you.
And I think you're on a selfless mission. That's how I see it. I don't see you as somebody who's trying to take over an NPC.
No. We will tear apart the NPC with transparency. And if that could happen, we are talking about saving over $60 to $100 billion every year from NPC. If we have the right leadership.
I have one other question for you.
I want to pay for these books, by the way. Can we?
No, that's very important. Nigeria is the second largest oil producer in Africa.
Yes.
It jostles with Angola.
Angola,
for a
yes.
second. It's the seventh largest oil producer in the world.
In the world, yes.
Do you think that there's much foreign interference in how this country is governed?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
You do?
I know. Not only do I know that.
Okay. So you think there are interested parties who are not Nigerians who are interfering in our
Absolutely.
How would you deal with that?
And so,
How would you
it's,
deal
it's
with
to understand that you can't look at the history of Nigeria. Nigeria was created as a company by United
How would you
African-
deal with that presidential word?
Look, dealing with that is where I'm coming from, is exposure. I know them. I know the oil companies. I know all the interested people. But people always warn me, don't talk too much. So that they don't know your strategy. But the thing is that I understand that. I understand the template for interference from outside. Yeah. And it's product based, it's based on the Nigerian products known as oil and several other interests. It's not only the people you suspect that are interested in Nigeria from outside. Nigeria has been so badly governed now, even Cameroon is interfering, Togo is interfering. Anybody can interfere with Nigeria.
Take a photograph.
Yes, please. Yeah.
So when everybody says that, when I tell people that I know the president, they say, "Robert, I'll just post it on Sahara Reporters."
That's right. Thank you so much.
Well done. I commend you. Sorry about my rapid fire.
No. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
For your courage, man.
Thank you.
Well
Auntie?
done.
Thank you. So we're back here. Auntie, let's take a picture now.
What kind of picture is this?
Did they not take a good picture? Let's do it again.
Finish with it.
No. Okay, the one that they did, they will send it to you.